Traditional waffles, and while we get all our ingredients ready, we're going to brown some butter. Browning the butter is almost like toasting it, and it'll get a nice little crust on top, which are flakes of butter, so it's browned butter. It takes approximately 8 to 10 minutes. While that is melting down and doing that, we're going to put our flour, our warmed milk, it's 2 cups of warm milk, flour, yeast, sugar, salt, together in a big bowl, and then fold in our browned butter. Let it sit overnight while the dough rests and rises in a not sealed tight container, and I usually put it in the basement, which is nice and cool, or in a cool dark place you can put it, but don't put it, you can put it in your fridge, but you don't have to. And then we put it on our waffle maker. So let's get started. So our butter is now browned. It almost looks burnt, but it has these crispy flakes on top. This is brown butter. That took approximately 8 minutes. We'll set it aside to let it cool a little bit. 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast. 1 1/4 teaspoons. 1 1/4 teaspoons of kosher salt. 1 1/4 teaspoons of kosher salt. 2 tablespoons of sugar. And I need 2 cups of all-purpose unbleached flour. I always use unbleached. If you've seen all my other videos, I use unbleached. But first we're mixing 2 tablespoons of sugar, 1 1/4 teaspoons of kosher salt, 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast. It asks for a 1/2 cup of buttermilk, but if you don't have buttermilk, what can we use? If you watched my videos, a 1/2 cup of yogurt, warmed milk, 2 cups of warm milk, all of our wet ingredients. We're going to mix this up before we add the flour and before we put in the browned milk. We're going to let this rest overnight, 12 hours, and then you're going to mix 2 large brown eggs with a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. Fold that in here once it's risen and rested, which is approximately 8 to 12 hours. Our 2 cups of flour. Fold in your browned milk. And this is what you have, classic waffles. Heat up your waffles. You're going to put in 4 tablespoons of waffle batter. In the waffle maker. And you're going to cook it for approximately 4 minutes. And you're going to serve it with your favorite toppings. But since we do have to let this rest overnight, this is a great mixing bowl because it comes comes with its own plastic top. You don't want it sealed tight. You want just a nice top. Fold in our browned butter slowly. It's still hot. Let's cool it down by putting it in here. Fold in your browned butter. And then the next day in the morning, you're going to fold in 2 beaten eggs with a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. And you're going to put it into your heated waffle maker. I usually put in like an ice cream scooper. I put 2 of those, 2 heaping full of those, for 4 minutes. So, your waffle maker, this is my waffle maker, there's 4. It's almost like a Belgian waffle maker. You heat it up, and this is the batter you will use tomorrow morning, or I usually make this the night before. Fold in your browned butter, let it rest and rise. Mix in 2 beaten eggs with a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. Fold it in your rested dough. Then you're going to put in, this is at least 2 tablespoons. So I do this, I put in 2 heapingfuls on 1 square, 2 of these here on each one, and it's approximately 4 minutes. Once I close it, 4 minutes, and then you have awesome waffles. It's like a dough because it's yeast and warmed milk, just like when you make pizza dough. Then you're going to do 2 scoops, and then here is your finished product. A great waffle served with butter, whipped cream, strawberries, whatever you like with your waffles. Buen provecho. See you in the morning for the final part. So 2 eggs with 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda will fold into our batter that rested last night. So good morning all. Our waffle maker has been warming up. Our batter has rested. It somewhat rises. I sometimes, if I don't use whole milk, I use some cream with my skim milk, because I always have cream and skim milk. But if you mix cream and skim milk together, it's almost like having a whole 2 cups of whole milk. Okay. The batter has rested from the mixture of the egg and our waffle maker is heated. It is, as I stated, 2 scoops, which is 4 tablespoons of batter. 4 tablespoons. You want to put a little dab, half of a little bit of a scoop in each, you can. Just trust me, this will rise because of the yeast. We'll close it up, and in 4 minutes we'll have some great waffles. Waffles baked for 4 minutes, and here you have some fresh, classic waffles. Enjoy! Buen provecho!